All right, it's Joe Bruin here with AllAccessEntertainment.com. The one and only David Ellefson here. It's Rhode Island Comic Con's location, TerrorCon this time around, the horror-themed Comic Con. What are your thoughts so far of the whole weekend?
It's been really cool. You know, it's a kind of a quaint show, but it's very steady with people coming in. A lot of MegaDeth fans in this area. We've had a long history from little venues like the Living Room years ago to playing at the Convention Center, which is attached here with Alice Cooper, and also Dio and all kind of. I guess we probably played there ourselves many times, you know. So just long storied history. We're just in, ironically, Boston at the Hard Rock playing acoustic back in December. So it's great to see the fans here.
Awesome. And speaking of Alice Cooper, he was the forwarder on your book.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the book?
Sure. Well, My Life with Death is my life story. Kind of the general overview. You know, it's I've always wanted to write one. My friend Joel MacGyver is he's a journalist, and now he's also the editor of Bass Guitar magazine in London. And he's the one who really knew the MegaDeth history and urged me to do it, and I'm glad he did. So I have my book here, Alice, who we have a long history with MegaDeth. He took us on our first big arena tour when we got signed to Capitol Records with the Peace Sells album back in 1986. I think the tour was 87. So he was gracious enough to give me some kind words that we used as the forward. And here we are. So books a cool thing to have here at these conventions.
Absolutely. And being TerrorCon, it's only fitting to ask, what are your favorite horror movies over the years?
Well, you know, it's funny. I've kind of become friends with Malcolm McDowell, which is funny because Clockwork Orange has been a MegaDeth favorite bus movie, you know. So to be able to, become buddies with him and. That's cool. And Adrienne Barbeau, I mean, I grew up with her, watching her on Maude and Swamp Thing and everything.
Sure.
And so it's kind of fun to become contemporaries and friends with a lot of the people who are in movies. Not so much here, but of course, the Friday the 13th series, Halloween, all those kind of things. So it's fun to come here and see all these different things. Of course, The Walking Dead is the big one now.
Sure.
They're everywhere, and they're all right back here. So. It's cool to hang. Those guys are big. Our tribe and The Walking Dead were kind of like one and the same.
And when it comes to performance and your live tours that you've done over the years, what are your favorite venues that you've come to perform in throughout the years, or favorite rock festivals, whatever it may be?
Well, the rock festivals is like a whole new thing now in America. There's these great festivals. Rock on the Range. We're actually playing one of the big ones this year, the Chicago Open Air, mid-July, big 3-day festival. Carolina Rebellion. There's the Riot Fests in the fall. So I mean, there's a ton of them now, and and they're doing it right. The organizer. There's a couple of them, but one in particular, Danny Wimmer. They've been very good about really capturing the spirit of why the European festivals are successful. And it's because they're not just one sort of corporate brand. You feel when you go to Italy, Gods of Metal, it's a certain feel. When you go to Germany, to Wacken, it's a very cultural, Wacken is kind of like their metal version of our Sturgis here. You can't just sort of corporately brand things. It's such an American thing to do. But Wimmer and those guys have really figured out how to make it. Every state is about like what a country is in Europe.
Sure.
And that's why every state has its own. We've got our own little accents. We've got our own. As much as we're the United States, every state has kind of regionally got its own flavor, and that's the beauty of the festivals in America.
And turning back the clock of time, when you were first getting involved in the world of music, who were your inspirations getting involved?
Well, I'm from the Kiss generation, which plays right into all this.
Sure.
I mean, when I was, growing up, certainly Kiss. That made it much more than just guys singing and playing songs. There was this whole, larger than life comic book fantasy about it all, and I thought that was so cool. And it's ironic because in thrash metal we were kind of the opposite of that.
Sure.
Ours was stretched, jeans, t-shirts, the stripped down version of that. Yet, I think with MegaDeth we took that a step farther because we actually kind of conceived of MegaDeth really before the band was even created, and I think that's why we're probably here all these years later, is that it wasn't just a random hit song that made us famous. You know, we really strategically sat in me and Dave's apartments with our, you know, the early band members, and we formulated what the band is. You know, I guess the same way you would conceive of a script, you know, a movie, you know, and these movies that become franchises. You know, MegaDeth is almost like that. You know, there was Killing Is My Business, Peace Sells, and then it's almost like every album is like a sequel. You know,
sure.
and because there's a theme, you know, and Big Rattlehead's a part of that. The music has been very, you know, concise and very precise with what we sing and write about, and the playing has been very consistent. So I think it, you know, plays well to everything that we're doing here at Terracon.
Absolutely. And in closing, the opportunity to come out to an event like this, a convention or a Comic-Con, and meeting your fans up close and personal, one-on-one, what have those experiences been like?
You know, it's cool because I get asked to do a ton of these, and for years I haven't been able to. I've been doing one or two here and there, but I haven't been able to because we're on tour, you know, and so now we've got a nice little break here for a few months, and which is kind of coming to an end now. But so I've been able to go to a few of these, you know, through Chicago, Orlando, Atlanta, you know, some of the popular cons, and I in particular I really like the slasher horror flick.
Yeah.
You know, these are our people. You know, these are the same people that love metal. So it's great to be able to have an up close and personal moment with them. We just won the Grammy last week, so
awesome.
The thrill is great, and everybody's so happy because, you know, that Grammy speaks to our metal nation. It's not just ours. You know, I kind of feel like it was for all of us to, you know, hold our heads high on that.
Sure.
It's cool. Good vibes here.
Congratulations, David Ellefson. Thank you for joining us here at Terracon, allaccessentertainment.com.